after a report yesterday said Carr's crying on the field was aggravating tensions in the Raiders locker room. Carr denied he cried on the field, but Big Ben said even if he did, it's no big deal.
Well, I think as men in general, we all need to show emotion. I think there's a misconception out there that as men we shouldn't show emotion, and I think that's wrong. I think we need to show emotion, whether it's at a movie if you want to cry, if it's funny, if it's sad, if you want to be around your wife or girlfriend, and just because you cry doesn't mean you're any less manly. I think that's a false narrative, and so when it comes to football, if something hurts, I mean, he might have been hurting, who knows? I know I've cried in the locker room before from both joy and pain. You lose a football game, you know, if you're not showing emotion, if he gets up from something like that and he's laughing, then he's going to get chastised for not showing enough emotion. So I don't know exactly the story you're talking about, but for me, I don't think it makes us any less manly.
This story has kind of confused me because I just never thought crying on a football field, a locker room, before a game, after a game, you get hurt, lose, whatever. I just never thought it was a big deal. I've seen guys cry.
Right.
I've seen guys show that kind of emotion. I can remember as a kid, you know, I cried. I couldn't play in the game because I was hurt. But I've definitely seen guys cry after losses or after a disappointing performance. Hell, I still cry about the way I played against Western Michigan in 1988. So I just don't see this as I don't see why Derek Carr would be taking any heat.
Yeah, I mean, look, someone we know very well, and Marty Schottenheimer used to cry twice a week. And we were like, all right, you cried on Wednesday, Coach. It's Sunday now. You got to, pick one. I used to cry a lot. Tears of joy in the beginning of the season. We're 0-0. The Jets fly over. I'm like, man, we could do it this year. And then we lose that game, and then I realized, all right, next year. Dick Vermeil used to cry. Ray Lewis was out there crying. You look at a lot of guys that Luke Kuechly, I remember when he got hurt. Remember Luke Kuechly was out there just crying? Man, guys, when they put the towel over their head, every time they put a towel over their head, it's not to get more air. It's because you try to hold it in.
I played with the guy we called the ultimate crybaby. He gonna hate me for this, but Hines Ward. Listen, Hines would cry about anything, you know, and that's just the way he was. That's how he showed his emotions. He didn't have a problem with doing that. So I don't have an issue with him crying. Even if he was crying, some things hurt. It may be that much pain that you need to shed a tear. But in that certain situation, I didn't see it. I didn't see a tear.
You know what? Here's the deal, and I don't even think it's about. I don't think it's about pain. I think it's about emotional. I always kid with my kids. I mean, I got emotional incontinence. I will in a movie. I mean, I will cry like a baby. It's just the way I'm wired. And so I'm emotional that way. Never cried necessarily on a football field from pain, but sure, when you get hurt and all of a sudden your season is over.
Yes.
The emotion of that, and I mean, how much work you've put in, how much off-season preparation. Think about this. A couple of years ago, he broke his leg. He knew his season was over. If he went down in that sack and thought he broke his arm, and I've been there where I thought I broke something, and it turned out to be a high ankle sprain or something, but it felt like I broke something. Like, you think your season's over? It's emotional. We're so invested in each other. We're so invested in the season. And I know this from spending a lot of time being injured. When you're not part of it, man, you feel like a pariah.
Yeah.
You come in, you go to the training room, everybody else goes to meetings, and you don't feel like part of that. That's emotionally, when it strikes you and you're sitting on the field going, this might be it for me, like it is so hard to deal with. So if you cry about it, like I don't have an issue with that.
Talk about that mountain that we have to climb up. And football is the most fickle sport of all. How many times have you walked into training camp or seen that guy, six-pack, been eating right, got all his rest, did all his workouts, and go out there? Season over.
Pop his ACL, right?
Right. See you next season, right? And all of that rushes in, man, all that pain, all that emotion, not just the work you put in, but the work you got to put back in just to get back to this place. Not improve, not be better, just to get back to this square one.
Every NFL player, and again, this doesn't apply to Derek Carr because he got his big contract, but even when you're a special teams guy and you're young, you're 23, 24, you're always thinking at some point, I'm going to make it big in the NFL and I'm going to get that big contract. And then you get hurt and all that just goes through your mind about, damn, what I was going to do for mama and them when I got that contract and all that. It all hits you at the same time. And that's like Earl Thomas, who's already made a bunch of money. But when he got hurt, when he knows he's going into more money and a new place to play and all that other stuff, the emotions overtake you. So I look at this story that's being put out there for a reason. Why did someone put this story out there that the players are upset because he's crying? And it's like they're trying to build a narrative that Derek Carr doesn't fit with the Raiders. And I heard Cowherd, I think, talking about this earlier on his show, and it's like they're basting him up or preparing him to be trade bait. To me, is what it sounds like. They're putting out a story like he doesn't fit here, and so this story just doesn't add up. Who cares if he cried? I may cry after this show. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, James. Coming up, Clayton Kershaw struggled in last night's World Series opener. Nick Swisher joins us to break it all down.
Swishy.